Well, some Canadians and foreign nationals say they are having trouble migrating due to the strike at Canada Post. They say passports aren't being delivered and that the application process has been disrupted. For more on this, we're joined by former immigration judge and immigration consultant, Susan Gong. Susan, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for having me.
So I mentioned that people are having trouble migrating, but paint a picture for us in terms of what people aren't able to do right now because their documents are stuck in the mail.
Yes. For example, we have a permanent residence here, but his PR card is expired and he wants to travel to visit his sick father in China. And so we help him to get his permanent resident card renewed, even on a very urgent basis. But then now it's stuck in mail. So he can't go, he can't visit his sick father. So that's one example. Another example is that we have a foreign worker here in Canada, and she asked us to help her to get her U.S. visitor's visa. So we did that, and then U.S. Embassy actually using Canada Post as a pickup point. So now her passport basically is stuck in Canada Post, and she cannot pick up her passport, let alone going to visit her friends in the U.S. But being a foreign worker in Canada with no access to her passport, it's a very frightening situation.
How many people do you think are coming up against challenges like this, Susan?
Oh, there will be a lot of people will be affected by this. I can tell you by the immigration practice point of view, most of the Canada local, the immigration office, IRCC, local offices, they only provide PO box address. So any correspondence, unless it's through electronic mail, it has to be done by Canada Post. You cannot send couriers. So that actually caused a lot of delay for people who is waiting to even getting, say, work permit renewal, study permit renewal, or getting their permanent residence card, or even to provide additional informations and for certain deadlines. So now they can't do it because it's only a PO box.
Oh, wow. Okay, so are there any workarounds or strategies that people can deploy in this situation if they do have a document that perhaps they haven't mailed in yet that they wanted to or need to?
Yes, if they can find the address, or we can help them find the address, that's not a PO box, and then they can use the courier service. But as you can see, it's going to be more expensive for most people, right? So courier will be more expensive than mail. And also they can request if there's any way they can send digital copies. And number 3 is that they need to ask for deadline extension due to the strike.
So if there is potentially quite a backlog growing here, Susan, how do you think this plays out even once the strike is over?
Well, the postal strike really exacerbates the delay in Canada's already strained immigration system. And they could cause potential undermining public confidence and in its efficiency and fairness. And also, it will affect our economy because the delay in processing certain skilled worker categories would affect the labor shortages that we have.
Well, Susan, hopefully this strike is resolved quickly for all parties. But thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Susan Gong, she is an immigration consultant.